Hello and welcome to my channel, Fred Makes Things. This is part 2 of the March Sewers Club series. Part 1 was the unboxing of this lovely little box and discussing the project that was inside. Part 2 is going to be making the project and reviewing it. I'm trying to streamline these videos, so this is going to be in 3 parts. Part 1 is going to be talking about the general idea of the project, the pieces that I have left over, things like that, the things that I have left in this box, the overall project, if you will. Part 2 is going to be a bunch of clips of me putting the project together, from cutting it to the finished project. And then part 3 is going to be my thoughts on the project, pros and cons, and my overall general feelings about it. I'm going to try to remember to timestamp them all on the screen so you can skip ahead if you don't want to see the other parts. Or you can skip ahead to the parts that you want to see. I'll try to remember to include it in the description box below too, but I haven't remembered yet, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so this is the Sewers Club box for March. What I do is I keep all of the project pieces, like the leftover scraps and things like that, in the box so that I can show you how much of the fabric and stuff I have left over. Yeah, so we'll just open up the box and I'll show you what I have left. So as a reminder, in every box you get like a little card telling you how much fabric you have and your bonus items. This month it was blue thread that I used to complete the project, and then the March add-on was a large spool holder. I have it set up. I'll flash a picture of it up on the screen now. I don't have any large spools, so I have no thoughts on that right now. Then you also get, this is bent, then you also get like the little project pattern guide. This month was the Tidy Tool Caddy for your, for the end of your ironing board, which I really liked actually. And then on the back again, you have a list of your fabric, your cutting guide, and then your instructions. All of this shiny stuff is just their instructional video, the password and stuff to that. Okay, so because this was like a double layered project, right? You had 4 colors of fabric and the fusible fleece. I was actually better at cutting this time, so I have more things left. I always save my scraps because you never know when they will come in handy for a future project. So I have a little bit of fusible fleece left in a strip. I have a larger piece as well, right? It's a decent size, so that's exciting. And then I also have, I have quite a bit of this yellow dotted fabric. So I have like the small piece here, and then I have a larger piece here. And that's because of the yellow fabric, when I show you the project, right, you didn't need a whole lot of it. So I have quite a bit of it left. Same goes with the blue pins. Like I have like a nice amount left. And then less of the other pieces. So I only have like this piece here of the Notions fabric. Yeah, and then I have like a couple scraps of the ironing sewing machine fabric. So yeah. As always, I made a few mistakes, so I could have had more of this blue fabric, but we'll talk about that when we get there. Overall, I enjoyed making this. It was a good project. So those are the scraps, and then these are the things that were included. I went through almost all of my blue thread, but we'll talk about that too. I have that just in my thread box. I didn't remember to put it back in here. So yeah, and now I will show you the montage, we'll call it. I don't know, the clips of me assembling it. Okay, so here is the final project. As you can see, it's mostly straight for the most part-ish. I don't have enough space to show it to you completely laid out on my filming area. So here's the back side. I hit the camera. And then here's the front side. The both sides are exactly the same. So here you have your one area, your large pocket, your smaller pocket, and then your clip strap. And then it's repeated the same on this side. Large pockets, smaller pocket, clip strap. Yeah. So, okay, so we'll talk about the pros first. I can actually see using this on the edge of my ironing board because I also use my ironing board with my cutting mat to cut out all of my projects for sewing. For me, and in the space that I am at right now, it's the easiest way for me to get nice, even cuts. So that's what I do. So when I have it, I'm going to be able to stick like my scissors and my rotary tool and my marking pens and all those good things in here, and it's going to work really quite well. So I really like it. I really love the pattern. I love these like vintage feeling sewing machines, and I really love the notions on the back. Like, I think this is just so pretty. I really like the colors on it. I also, like I said before, I like the colors of the polka dots and of the needles. It's just, this is more my speed than the other two projects. So I'm really excited about it. Overall, cutting and assembly was quite easy. As always, I watched the instructional video that comes with it. The instructional video was quite short for this one. I think it was only about 20 minutes or so, which makes sense because the project is quite simple as well. I always recommend watching the instructional video. Always. It makes things so much more sense. Like, they do include instructions with this as well. And like, the instructions are pretty good, but I'm a bit more of a visual learner, so it's nice to have something laid out for me first, and then being able to like refer back to the instructions. Especially like about cutting and stuff like that. I like seeing them physically cut out first, and then it makes more sense for me when I start to cut things out. So yeah, Overall, I have, yeah, I think I really only have positives about this project. Okay, so I did say I was going to talk about some negatives, so we'll talk about some negatives. The only negative really that I can think of off the top of my head, and I've been staring at this for a while, right? I've had it done for a couple of days. The only negative is I wish I had, this is a bit loose at times, and I wish that I had stitched it down like they suggested in the video. In the instructions it says just to go straight across, which I did, right? Like I only sewed it on the edges, but I really do wish I had sewn it down, and in the future I might do that. Other than that, I can't think of any negatives. Now, of course, to user error, there's always going to be user error because I am a novice at sewing. I don't know if I took any photos of my mistakes. I don't know if I was planning on owning up to them at all, really. But with this blue pin fabric, I got a little excited and I cut it the wrong way. So instead of cutting it, they say that you're supposed to cut it at 14.5 inches by 11 inches. And when I cut it going 11 inches first. And then I was like, oh yeah, there's enough space, but there wasn't. There was only 12 inches, or not even 12 inches. So what I did is I cut more of the blue, pieced it to the bottom of, like I pieced it, right? Like I sewed it to the bottom of the back end of this, because it's just folded over, right? Sewed it and then recut it so that it's 14.5 inches. So if I could flip it around, I'd show you, but right around this point here, there's a seam on the back. It's not a big deal. Just that whole measure twice, cut once really got me. The other thing too is I had recently gotten my sewing machine back from the machine repair guy, and I inserted a needle that was slightly bent. I didn't realize that, so I had a really hard time at first sewing. So like both of these are messed up. This thing is also a bit messed up. A few other like little bits and pieces throughout until I got my tension setting back to the way it should have been, and I changed it, and I changed out my needle. So again, user error. The third thing, yeah, we'll say third. The third thing that I did was that I was impatient and I didn't stick to the 1/2 inch seam allowance. So like down here and stuff, I ended up at 1/4 inch along the edge. This edge on this side, I was also 1/4 inch, which got me into trouble when I went to flip it around, cut off the excess and fold this over, because right, they said in the instructions, right, because you have 1/2 inch here of extra material, so to cut it down to 1/4 inch but leave this opened section at 1/2 inch so that you'd be able to like fold and tuck it back under to get a nice clean stitch, and I didn't. So I had a bit of a hard time with that because I went almost 1/4 inch all the way along this edge. The other thing too is, again, I was a bit impatient, so I'm not perfectly square. I'm almost square, but I'm not perfectly square. Like you can see here, this is a bit off, right? This is a bit off, right? It comes in, things like that. But overall, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think it's by far my best project using Sewers Club. I think that's it. I think that's it. thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions on ways to slow me down or cut straighter, let me know. You can even see, I don't know if you can see in camera, but this is a wonky stitch too. Oh, that's the fourth thing I didn't do right, is I didn't bring this all the way up to the top. So this is all flappy as a pocket here. Like it's sewn down as two to this point, but it's flappy here. So I'm gonna have to tack that down too. I'll probably tack that down and this down. Yeah, anyway, back to my closing. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought of this project compared to the other two projects that I've done in the past. Give me any tips or pointers on how I can improve. Be nice in the comments though, please. I do see every single one and I respond to all of them as well. Like if you like the video, subscribe if you choose to. I don't know. My next unboxing video for the Sewers Club should be in a couple more weeks. And again, thanks for watching. Bye.